What's up, YouTube? Today I'm working on a project that for me personally has been a long time coming. This truck is an 84 F350. It's got a 460 with a 4-barrel. It's got a 4-speed new process 435 transmission. Really sweet tow mirrors. It's got the floor delete kit. The clutch pedal was down to the floor when it got here. It wasn't running when I got it. It wasn't running till the other day, actually. But I went to put fluid in the clutch master cylinder and it all dumped down the firewall. So I figure that was probably ultimately the demise of the floor, seeing as what brake fluid does to paint and what a lack of paint will do to a floor underneath the Ford floor mat or the front windshield. I just about guarantee the bottom of the windshield, the glue is bad and it's probably just floating there like they all are. And when you're off-roading and stuff, you hear your windshield creaking around in the front. If you know, you know, if you've driven these trucks. So this project was on hold for a while because when I first looked it over, I thought, where is it? Oh, it's hiding up there now. There's a crusty old metal solenoid type fuel pump sitting on the frame rail. And I thought that was the fuel pump. It was unhooked and it was all rusty and disgusting. And I didn't really look at the truck because I was broke and I didn't want to put any money into it because I didn't need it at the time. The list goes on. But I was down here taking a gander at it again, and there's a brand new fuel pump mounted on the frame down below the cab. So it has this sweet tank that was mounted on the frame rail. And this is another reason this project was on hold. That has saddle straps. I'm smoking a cigarette and it smells like gas in here pretty bad, but anyway, I don't know how many gallons it is. I put 5 in there, but I cut this front piece out nice and crooked with a dull hacksaw blade, as you can see. Originally I intended to weld it back in, but being that it smells like gas fumes so bad in there, I might just rivet it or something to keep the spirit of throwing this together with what I got, because I wanted to get all fancy and fix the floor nice, but I'm not getting into all that. So I got it running the other day. I've got to go pick up a new battery, an accelerator pump diaphragm, and a clutch master cylinder, and an air filter. So somebody welded this real nice exhaust on here, and I'm not typically a fan of a smaller exhaust on such a big motor, but somebody did a nice job welding this exhaust on, and I was expecting it to be like every other 460 on the road and have leaking manifold gaskets and being like tap 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 tap. But this is the quietest, smoothest running, really smoothest accelerating, I haven't driven it yet of course, 460 that I have ever been around. Got this Group 31 sitting in here that's actually bad, I've come to find out. I had to jump start it. But yeah, just your good old 460. It's got the old Holly manufactured for Motorcraft 4-barrel on here. I didn't look the numbers up yet, but I believe this is a 4180. And somebody's been in this truck. It looks like a pretty new carburetor, just judging by the nice shine on the choke bell there. But anyway, the electric choke works and all that, and everything seems to be in working order. There's some wiring problems that need to be addressed. I don't know what some people think. Oh, and the fuel pump is way down on the frame rail, so some person took this wire that went all the way back down there by the EGR, came down over top over kind of by the steering and the exhaust manifold, and all the way down the frame to go to the ground for the fuel pump. That is dedication. I wonder if they realized that the entire frame rail is a ground. But once we get a new battery in here, it seems pretty good. The oil's clean in it, the brakes are solid, the power steering's a little low. The antifreeze is right in the happy spot for one of these trucks, about 6 inches down from the filler, because the overflows always leak, and you can put antifreeze in these every day and it just disappears, so you might as well just let it find its happy spot, is what I found. Still haven't tested all the lights and the wipers and all that crap, but I got the L pack on here, and I'm going to be putting my other body on here in conjunction with the L pack, which I still have to determine all the different details, but this box needs to be taken off, which isn't going to be a problem because there is a plate in here. So I just have to cut the welds along the box and take it off, and I might add that somewhere else on the truck, but that's where my torch well is on my other body that I'll show you guys a short video of. But I might even mount my welder right up top here, because inside of this box there's a nice big area, so I could hang up all my leads. I could even throw leads down here, but have all my welding equipment and such in there, and the welder right up on top. My torch tank's right there. Should be pretty nice. Some bonehead cut this spring hanger with the torch, so I've got to get a new one of them. This hitch might not work for what I want to do, so I might change that in the future, but it is pretty nice. Not quite as beefed up as I would have done, but it seems to have done its job. This was a setup as a mason dump. It's still got the pump on it, doesn't have a tank. So if we go, close this up. That's one of the nicest controls for the PTO slash valve that I've ever seen in an old truck. So I'm going to do what I've wanted to do for a long time, since this is going to be like the farm service truck, is get a tank, a reservoir obviously, and a filter, but put remotes on the back of the truck so that if I'm out working on equipment and there's no tractor there, I can use hydraulics to fold the equipment up or run it through its functions or test whatever I'm testing, or even test hydraulic cylinders or hydraulic repairs. Should be pretty nice, but we'll see how it goes. I'll also show you more pictures of the, or show a video of the other body that's going to get mounted right on here. So this is the body that I've been referring to. Pardon the mess, but life seems to have gotten away from me for a while here. But this started out as a flatbed that I built for a truck that I had, that here on the farm we referred to as Big Rhonda. That was a brown and tan 1986 Ford F350 that started out as just a normal pickup when I got it for $800 with a pickup bed, 351 Windsor, all stock 4-barrel carburetor with a C6 automatic. Its final variation was this bed on it that I had built, which is heavy duty. It's 3/16 smooth steel plate sheet metal for the deck. I didn't want to use diamond plate because I find it more slippery. Got stake pockets, 1/4-inch rub rail. The cross members are on, I forget how many inch centers. I think I did 16 on this bed, but I used the heaviest grade 3-inch and 4-inch channel that you could make. The frame rails are 4-inch, the cross members are 3-inch. And I had big sides on it, short sides on it, and then I set it up as a mechanic truck. I might find some pictures of that, but I had one of these boxes on either side with my welder on the left on the back there, my vise on this side. I didn't always have them on a Zuma box, but then I had my air compressor mounted in the front and all kinds of tools stuffed on this thing, and it wasn't enough, and it was too much weight for the truck. So I was doing repairs on my own like that, and it just wasn't enough. Then we got this big box, and I had built this torch well to put on the truck before I stopped driving it because the cab was falling off. But I built this nice torch well and welded it in and stacked these two boxes on one another and put the big giant job box on there, and that's when the Montezuma got put on the back. And I was just going to use this to drive around with. Up front's a pad for the big transfer tank we have, but that never really worked out too well. I always said I should just find a truck to put it on, but it's hard to come by the 80s trucks anymore, especially for a good price. So I came across that one we were just looking at for a good deal. So I always said if I ever got another one, I was never going to let it go, because those 80s Fords are some of the best trucks I've ever owned. But this is the body that's going to go on that truck, and the torch well here is why that L-pack needs to be cut off, because this bed is the same width just about as with the rub rail as the L-pack on the pretty blue truck down there. But the bed's gonna stick back. I think the back of the frame, the hitch, is going to be somewhere around the front of the vise. So we're going to have a good 10 inches or so hanging off the back of the truck, because this is about 100 inches. I think that bed's set up for a 10-foot body, but I think when they put that hitch on and had the dump body on it, they cut the back of the frame off a little bit. But we'll make it work. The other problem is this was on a standard pickup truck. That's a cab and chassis truck down there. Cab and chassis frame width is standard at 34 inches from outside of the frame rail to outside of the frame rail. So from outside of this to outside of this would be 34 inches on a cab and chassis truck. And on pickup trucks, it varies on year, make, and model, but it's rare that they're 34 inches. So this wasn't, I forget the exact measurement, but it's wider. So I'm gonna have to alter that, which isn't really a big deal because my height needs to be set just perfect too, because those old, I don't know why it seems like the long cab and chassis like that, the old ones, the early 80s ones, had a very low ride height, and I want to be at a comfortable work height and have a fold out step on this side to be able to get up to my welder, but to be able to comfortably work on my torches and do what I need to do. And also one day maybe put another box on top of this, or who knows, because I'm trying to just throw together a budget service truck. Should work pretty good, but hopefully I'm not boring everybody to death.